Sometimes, Africans managed to establish protected areas in places where it seemed impossible. Right now, we're in the midst of an extraordinary reserve with incredibly diverse wildlife. Welcome to the Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park. This means place of thirst. What makes this place unique is that it spans two countries, South Africa and Botswana. About 3/4 of the park is located in Botswana, and its total area is roughly 14,668 miles. The park extends across the Kalahari Desert, where the sand has a distinctive reddish hue. But it's not just an endless desert. There are also many small water holes here. Although the area might seem deserted, and it's true, there aren't many people here, only adventurous souls who are passionate about safari arrive here. The park is home to a wealth of fascinating wildlife, and you'll see lots of such species very soon. The pale chanting goshawk is quite common in this part of Africa, particularly in savannas and deserts. Its diet is incredibly varied, primarily consisting of lizards and rodents. However, this predator also hunts snakes, birds, small animals, and even insects. About 15% of its daily diet comes from carrion. Lions have a hard time dealing with the heat and usually rest in the shade during the day for this reason. These predators begin their search for food after sunset and hunt until morning. They can afford to rest up to 20 hours a day. Female lions in particular are quite exhausted, as they are responsible for searching for food for the entire pride. In fact, females do about 90 to 100% of the hunting. A female Gemsbok and her calf are out foraging for food. Although strong animals, they are very vulnerable. They are very vulnerable with a calf in tow. A Gemsbok can weigh between 220 to 528 pounds and has a robust body, a short neck, and long horns that can reach up to 40 inches. Typically, this antelope gives birth to only one calf at a time. For the first 3 to 6 weeks, the female is very attentive, using her sharp horns to protect the calf from predators. Many hunters, including lions, have met their end at the sharp end of these horns. Usually, after about 6 weeks, the mother will return with her calf to the herd. Meerkats may look small and cute, weighing between 1.5 and 2 pounds each. Right now, you're watching a few of them foraging for food. They're likely searching for edible roots or tubers. In addition, their favorite treats include beetles, scorpions, and snakes. Meerkats also have a division of labor. There's always someone on guard, whether during hunting or at the entrances to their burrows. While foraging, the sentry can quickly alert the group to approaching danger. They also create what are known as emergency burrows within their territory to hide in case they encounter a predator while searching for food on their own. Throughout the day, they rotate roles so everyone gets a chance to eat and contribute to the colony. Blue wildebeest calves are usually born during the rainy season, when there's plenty of lush vegetation. Their gestation period is almost as long as a human's, somewhere between 8 and 9 months. Interestingly, they give birth nearly simultaneously, with about 80% of all offspring arriving within approximately the same time frame. The newborns can walk shortly afterward. Calves rely on their mother's milk for around 7 to 8 months. As they grow, their coat gradually darkens. The Cape fox is the only member of its family living south of the equator. This animal is about the size of an ordinary house cat. African farmers don't like it much because they see it as a serious threat to their poultry and livestock. Despite their efforts to eradicate this small predator, its numbers remain stable. In reality, the South American fox primarily eats rodents, rabbits, insects, beetle larvae, and small reptiles. It occasionally feasts on bird eggs and chicks, and it doesn't shy away from scavenging. It can dig its own burrows, but usually takes over abandoned ones. In the wild, it lives for about 10 years. What could be easier than hunting a single antelope? This is a springbok. It gets its name from its remarkable ability to jump, sometimes up to 10 feet. What's more, it can leap vertically and in multiple bounds. When needed, it can also run at speeds of up to 55 miles an hour. However, given that it's currently separated from the herd and alone, none of its superpowers might save it if it encounters a whole pride of lions. Lions almost never go for food. Their hunting attempts account for only about 5 to 10% of the group's total. Most of the time, the lion only eats meat that the lionesses have caught. And he always gets to eat first. It is a strict rule. The male gets the best part of the kill, in particular, the tenderest meat. The Butler Eagle is a predatory bird from the same family as a hawk. It is capable of making impressive aerial acrobatics. Among the tricks the Butler can perform, one of the most impressive is its ability to spin around in midair by 360 degrees. They often do this during the mating season. Despite its name, the Butler is highly respected for its skills, and even one of the national symbols of Zimbabwe, and the local people believe the bird is a harbinger of good luck. The black-chested snake eagle is clearly on the hunt for food, and as you might guess, it primarily looks for snakes. However, if its preferred prey is scarce, it will happily settle for lizards, small reptiles, and mammals. A lion's canines can grow up to 3 inches long. They can open their mouths up to 11 inches wide to roar, for instance. It can sometimes be heard several kilometers away, especially in open areas. Tall stature comes with both drawbacks and benefits. Giraffes, which stand between 12 and 16 feet tall and sometimes even more, can reach the highest branches in search of the best leaves. These animals graze for up to 12 hours a day. To maintain their massive bodies, a single giraffe may need from 77 to 132 pounds of plant food per day. Acacia leaves are their favorite. Giraffes roam over large areas to find enough food. They can cover a range of up to 35 square miles. They are not tied to any specific spot. Each giraffe has a unique pattern of spots on its body, which can be used to distinguish the individuals. For example, the giraffe you're looking at right now has some spots that resemble flowers. Giraffe spots are kind of like human fingerprints. Each one is distinct. Springbok antelope are highly sensitive to threats and will flee at the slightest hint of danger. These hoofed animals are quite common in southern Africa and often migrate in large herds. Sometimes these groups can number hundreds of individuals. The herd is primarily made up of females and young ones. Adult males are generally territorial and tend to defend their venues from rivals. Young males form bachelor groups. Females reach sexual maturity at around 1 year old, which males mature at around 2 years. Each year, a female gives birth to a single calf. Overall, the population of this species has never experienced a significant decline. You can easily estimate approximately the age of these animals by their horns, which are present in both sexes. The older the antelope, the longer its horns. By the way, the springbok is one of the symbols of South Africa. It is frequently used locally and even quite prominently. For instance, the South American national rugby team is called the Springboks. When a pale chanting goshawk perches on a branch, it isn't just seeking shade from the heat. It's positioning itself for an ambush on its next prey. Another common hunting strategy for it is to walk around the savanna. The choice of strategy depends on the type of animal the predator is pursuing. Even though the park is located in a desert, there are still small oases. You can clearly see the contrast between these two types of terrain. The cheetah is a solitary predator. Even if you see a few or a small group, it's usually just a coincidence. They're not typically social animals. Cheetahs are often confused with leopards. There are several distinguishing features between them. Cheetahs are slimmer and taller, while leopards are bulkier and shorter. Cheetahs have long and thin legs, which bounce well since their main goal is to pursue their prey as fast as possible. At the same time, leopards have shorter, more robust legs, which help them climb trees and sometimes drag their prey up with them. A cheetah's tail is slightly longer and flatter, which is crucial for balance during high-speed chases. In contrast, a leopard's tail is more rounded and helps with stability while climbing trees. Finally, a key difference visible up close, if you're lucky enough to get close, is their spots. Cheetah spots are solid and round. They actually look like spots. At the same time, leopard spots are more ring-shaped, or as they're sometimes called, rosettes. A flock of Cape sparrows can number up to 200 birds. Each bird weighs between 0.6 and 1.35 ounces and feeds on various seeds, including wheat, wild grasses, and other small plants. Despite its small size, somewhere between 5.5 and 6 inches, the bird is highly regarded in South Africa for its adaptability and strong social bonds. Locals also view it as a symbol of love and wisdom. Since 1923, the bird has been featured on various coins circulated in the area for many times. The pale chanting goshawk visits water sources not just to drink, but also to hunt for prey that comes to the water source as well. The charming animal you're seeing right now is a common slender mongoose. This is a predator, and a quite agile one. It's relatively small, weighing between 16.2 and 25.2 ounces, but its body length ranges from 10.8 to 15.7 inches. Its diet mainly consists of lizards, rodents, snakes, birds, amphibians, and occasionally fruits. It also enjoys eggs and will eat carrion if other food is scarce. Typically, it lives alone or in pairs and is mostly active during the day. The mongoose is skilled at climbing trees, often searching for bird nests with eggs or young chicks. When faced with a potential threat, the mongoose freezes. However, if the danger is close, it starts hissing and growling and is usually inclined to fight back against its attacker. Its main enemies are leopards, lions, and African wild dogs. Interestingly, mongooses can also attack each other. When they're angry, their fur tends to get ruffled. Mongooses are polygamous and tend to change partners throughout their lives. Typically, several offspring are born at once. They leave their mother around 6 months of age and fully mature by 1 year. The Lanner Falcon is a predatory bird capable of reaching incredible speeds up to 90 miles per hour when needed. It hunts by chasing its prey horizontally and usually catches it mid-air. They have very sharp vision and primarily hunt other birds and bats. However, they also feed on small mammals, reptiles, and insects, and rarely may target domestic birds. Interestingly, these falcons sometimes steal prey from hunters and other predators. They mostly lead a sedentary lifestyle, although some individuals are known to travel considerable distances. This serious-looking species is the Secretarybird, and it truly lives up to its name. It has very long legs, walking slowly and covering significant distances, up to 18 miles per day. They usually move around alone or in pairs, and less commonly in small family groups. In addition to their impressive walking ability, They also are excellent flyers, soaring high in the sky. Their job is quite challenging, hunting for snakes, and secretary-birds truly excel at that. In fact, their Latin name, Sagittarius serpentarius, means archer of snakes. Besides this food, they also enjoy hunting lizards, small mammals and birds, amphibians, and sometimes even scorpions. Lions don't have a specific mating season. They can actually do it year-round. However, their peak activity generally occurs from March to June. The gestation period for lions is around 100 days. Usually, 2 to 4 cubs are born at a time, though sometimes there can be only one. Despite a large number of females in a pride and the frequent births, many cubs don't survive to adulthood. The survival rate is alarming. Around 50% of the cubs die during their early years, and some estimates suggest it could be as high as 70%. The main cause of these deaths is intraspecies aggression from older pride members. The social weaver is a small bird just 5.5 inches long, and it's hard to spot from a distance, unlike its homes. They build not just nests, but rather an entire avian metropolis. Interestingly, the birds don't build these super constructions alone. They live in large colonies, sometimes numbering hundreds of birds. Each pair constructs its own nest, but in the outcome, they create a truly impressive collective structure. These nests, made of clay and grass, can reach heights of up to 13 feet and lengths of up to 32 feet. The well-organized layout of these metropolises helps maintain a more favorable temperature inside compared to the often scorching conditions outside. Ostriches are searching for food. They prefer eating small plants, flowers, and buds, and catching small animals like lizards, tiny turtles, and also insects. Since they don't have teeth, they swallow small stones to help grind up the food in their stomachs. Males have their own harems, usually consisting of 2 to 3 females. The male is responsible for digging a nest in a safe spot where the females can lay their eggs. Ostrich eggs are the largest eggs in the world, weighing between 2.3 and 3.3 pounds. Both the male and female take turns incubating the eggs. The male incubates them at night because his black coloring blends in better with the surroundings, while the female takes over during the day, as her gray plumage provides better camouflage during this period. Ostriches have very strong legs with sharp claws. These powerful legs enable them to run quickly when needed and even defend themselves against predators. They can cover a distance of about 15.5 feet in a single stride. They also have a very long neck, measuring between 30 and 40 inches. Overall, these birds can stand between 5.5 upwards of 9 feet tall, making them the tallest birds in the world. Despite their height, they are completely flightless. The Kory Bustard slowly strolls through the savanna, usually alone or foraging in small groups. It has very strong and long legs, allowing it to reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour when needed. Its tall legs and long neck give it a height of 23.6 to 47.2 inches, and it weighs anywhere from 11 to 40 pounds. Right now, the bird is busy searching for something to eat. It is omnivorous, eating both plant and animal food. Its diet includes berries, meat, small birds, lizards, and even snakes. In its youth, its diet primarily consists of insects. You can now take a closer look at the sociable weaver. By its appearance, it resembles a sparrow and actually belongs to the order of Passeriformes. This industrious little builder weighs only 0.7 to 1 ounces. Interestingly, it's monogamous. Once a sociable weaver chooses a mate, it remains faithful for life. It feeds on seeds, berries, fruits, and insects. These birds have very strong social bonds and strict discipline. Even when its own nest is complete, a sociable weaver still has to work for the benefit of the colony. Laziness and theft of building materials are punished with instant expulsion from the colony. These species are quite aggressive. While their large colonies might look like a paradise for a predator, it's not as it may seem to be at first sight. If an outsider, including humans, approaches, the birds all fly out of their nests and aggressively mob the intruder while chirping loudly. Not everyone can cope with the pressure of this kind. The swallow-tailed bee-eater is a gorgeous colored bird with vibrant plumage and a slender, elongated body, measuring between 7.8 and 8.6 inches in length. It's a delight to observe. It gets its name from its forked tail that resembles one that a swallow has, as well as thanks to its love of bees. However, the bee-eater actually feeds on any insects it catches while in flight. The Verreaux eagle owl is resting. It is the only owl in the world with pink eyelids. This bird is quite rare. During the day, it is generally inactive and sleeps. However, if it detects a threat, it immediately wakes up and becomes noisy. The owl has an exceptional sense of hearing and is known for aggressively defending its territory, which can cover several hectares. As evening approaches and throughout the night, it hunts. It prefers snakes, rabbits, small antelope, warthog piglets, other small animals, frogs, invertebrates, and fish. If food is scarce, it will also eat carrion. The barn owl is also resting. It's currently asleep, but will head out to hunt as evening approaches. This bird has very sharp vision and can see well even in the dark, allowing it to spot its favorite prey: birds, bats, lizards, amphibians, and insects. It is a very silent hunter. However, in other situations, it can make quite eerie screeches that are uncomfortable for human ears, and it can also hiss. Leopards always live and hunt alone. Only mothers and their cubs stay together for a certain period. Each leopard has its own territory, where they prefer to live in trees, coming down to the ground mainly in search of food. They hunt by ambush and rely heavily on unpredictability. If they lose the element of surprise, a leopard will likely switch to another prey. They are not inclined to chase animals for long distances, although they can run quickly, reaching speeds of up to 35 miles per hour. This predator has razor-sharp teeth, about 2 inches long. It kills with a precise bite to the neck. Leopards are not picky eaters. They can consume a wide variety of animals, including birds, monkeys, and lizards. When their preferred prey, such as antelopes and gazelles, is scarce, they switch to smaller, less desirable species. They can kill some small creatures with a single powerful swipe of their paw. Numerous protected areas in Africa not only allow tourists from around the world to witness the continent's wildlife, but also ensure its preservation for future generations. Fur, horns, tusks, these are just a few examples of what poachers hunt for. Thanks to the concerted efforts of governments, progress is being made against this severe issue. Notably, Botswana has developed and implemented some of the strictest conservation laws. This country's example is truly one to follow. The wildlife and bird life in this region are marvels that can be watched endlessly. They are definitely worth seeing personally, while always keeping safety and caution in mind. Africa is Africa, but it is also worth choosing as your travel destination.